Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. In the last episode, we kicked off by battering Hooktail about the head and gathering the first of the crystal stars. In this next episode, we'll be moving into the interstitial mid-chapter stuff and seeing what has become of some old friends. Oh, great exalted Grodus, we brought the Princess Peach you ordered, sir. Well, 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 my pet. Isn't it about time you told us where the map is? Princess Peach, you will speak when spoken to. I'm telling you, I don't know. There's no point in trying to hide it, silly girl. We know you had it. We know this. Trust me, it's very much in your interest to be absolutely honest with us. We X-Nauts are not all rainbows and lollipops, I assure you. We're quite nasty. Grodus, sir, I have news. Report at once. You know that crystal star we thought maybe Hooktail had? Well, someone nabbed it. What? What did you say? Someone else is after the crystal stars. And he defeated that Hooktail creature, you say? Speak, soldier! Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. There's more too. See, according to the report, it was a moustache dude in a red hat and blue overalls who pulled the job. Mario. Excuse me? Mario? Ha 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 ha! I see. So you know of this Mario, do you? This fool matters not at all. I'll know all about him before long, that I promise. I grow bored of talking. Take Princess Peach back to the holding room. Yes, sir. So, indeed, Princess Peach has been kidnapped by the X-Nauts, not Bowser this time. And that obviously changes the equation a little bit in terms of who we're going to be fighting throughout this game. Not that Bowser won't make an appearance at some point, I'm sure. So our next destination is going to be the Boggly Woods, as foreshadowed there. And somebody called the Shadow Sirens are going to make an appearance. Pray tell, did the princess tell you where the map is? Still your tongue, Beldam. We would already have it if you'd snatched her earlier. But now, since you missed your chance, some poor fool named Mario has the map. It wasn't my fault, truly. There were too many prying eyes there. Too many. Besides, a strange old man showed up at the moment of truth and we had to retreat. Why worry? All we need to do now is find this Mario and steal the map, yes? Indeed, that is your duty. Must I remind you, that map is vital to the X-Naut plan. I will have my men prepare all available information on this Mario. For now, hear me, Beldam. You Shadow Sirens must take care of this troublemaker. So there we are. We have met some of the antagonists we're going to be facing throughout this game. The Shadow Sirens for one, but the X-Nauts on the other hand for another. So Lord Crump and Grodus are there to top brass and will be causing us trouble throughout this game, I'm afraid to say. So we are here on the X-Naut base. Appears to be some sort of spaceship or otherwise highly technologically advanced facility. But our job is going to be to sort of explore and find out a little bit about our surroundings. Not much we can do for now other than head over into the next room. And yes, indeed. So we've got a shower here and a toilet and all the necessary facilities. This mirror doesn't work, and in any case, Peach is far too short for it. So our only option for now is to take a shower, which I think this may be the first canon instance of nudity in a Mario game. And there we are. So for the time we are in this room, at least we get a new haircut for Princess Peach. This is a fairly unique asset. I think only occurs after she's been in the shower. I think her rosy cheeks are also a product of that as well. So nothing else for it. I'll head back into the main room. And mysteriously her hair immediately falls down into its classic style. And something is afoot with the facility. So it's easy enough to sneak through. These lifts unfortunately don't work because they've got the red icon. So now we meet Tech. He is the computer on board this base, and he has been spying on Peach in the shower, so has taken a bit of a liking to her. Peach immediately jumps to the conclusion that the computer is in love with her, which is fairly presumptuous on her part, in my view. She does at least acknowledge that it's very weird. And in true stereotypical fashion, he cannot compute the concept of love. He wants to know what love is, in other words. Princess Peach believes in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of her heart. So Tech agrees to let Peach contact Mario in exchange for being taught about love. And this is where Mario's PDA comes in useful, because it will allow him to receive messages from Peach on board the facility. Not quite sure why these aliens are wired into Earth's internet networks, but I suppose it makes sense as a way to infiltrate your enemy's communications. And here we are in an all the more familiar location for a villain. So yes, we get officially our third playable character of the game. This is Bowser. Unlike Mario, he does not have a hammer attack on B, he has a flame attack, which you can use to torch our unsuspecting minions here. So we'll have a chat with these guys as we head towards the end of the room. Got these hammer bros here, complaining about their boss and making fun of him for being a creep, which undoubtedly he is. You guys like roasting, huh? And indeed, at the end of the hall, we find these two remaining hammer bros, who don't have much interesting to say, but are... Well, I'd say it's the end of our throne room, but there's no actual throne, so I'm not entirely sure what this facility is for, but here's Kami Koopa anyway. So Mario's on the move and Bowser doesn't know a huge amount about it. Can I answer honestly that I hate fried eggs because they smell like sulfur and make me want to gag? Yeah, so Bowser's the protective jock type and doesn't like anyone kidnapping Princess Peach without his permission. Very retrograde attitudes there. Here we are back in Petalburg with Mario and the gang. So Koops is accompanying us on a permanent basis. And as Goombella points out, we've got to head back to the Thousand Year Door and drop off this crystal star. But there will be a few things we're going to do along the way, which I'll cut to. So first things first, we're going to flip sideways and head through this fence and grab the Mega Rush P here, which is quite an important badge. I think it takes up quite a few badge points. I think it's... Oh no, it's only one. So in that case, I think I will unequip Close Call and equip Mega Rush P. So what this does is when our partner is on one remaining hit point, they will do an extra 5 damage per hit, which is very, very powerful if you can get the hit points just right. So I think that's the last remaining thing in Petalburg, and I will see you when we get back to Rogueport. But first we get this email through from Peach, which we will catch up on how she's doing. My dearest Mario, I send this letter in the hope that it reaches you safely. I am being held against my will in some strange place. Though I do not know where I am, I remain unharmed and am in relative comfort. Those who have captured me seem to be after the map I sent to you earlier. They may be hoping to use it to find objects they call the crystal stars. I do not know what they are planning, but they have a feeling it is not anything positive. Mario, please collect these crystal stars before they do. You must. They are already aware that you have the map, so please be very careful. And please, don't worry about me, Princess Peach. Well, okay, she's alive. Okay, so in taking out a couple of Goombas on the way back to the home base, we have ticked ourselves up over into level 5. So, I'll just quickly go through this level up with you. I think I'm going to go for the badge points upgrade this time, just so we can expand our capacity once we get back to Rogueport for reasons you shall see. So with that takes us up to 9. Excellent. So before we head up and see Frankly, we're going to exploit a few of the new abilities we've got here. So firstly, we can turn sideways and head through these bars. Lets us go down this pipe and into the back of the screen. So we'll do a little bit of very light platforming to get over to this house. And in here is Merlee. She can give us several different bonuses in combat. These last for a certain period of time, and they can give you various things like double damage, increased resistance to enemy incoming fire. They can give you bonus star points, bonus coins, and I think it's generally worth having one of these on because you never know when it's going to come in handy. So I'm going to go for the special path, which is 50 coins. Bit expensive, but it means that we will be powered up a little bit in combat for at least the next chapter or so. Perfect, so there we are, and that is the first of the many things we've unlocked now that we're able to turn sideways. You'll also note that now we can more easily access the lower levels of the sewers without having to do that little platforming section now that we can turn into the screen. So we head through to the left here, we'll find Dazzle, who we met before, of course, but now we've got now we've got some badge points we can use for these badges. We'll be able to trade some in. Now, I've got 12, so I can't afford everything, but one thing I can afford is the Quick Change badge, which costs 8. And this is a very important badge, even though it uses 7 BP, which is very, very expensive, so I don't know if we can use it yet. But what it does is it allows you to swap out a partner without using that partner's turn. So if you were up against an enemy that was if you were up against a range of enemies that were all spiked, for example, but you had Goombella out, so she couldn't attack them, you could switch over to Coops and then attack them without wasting a turn. So it can be a real lifesaver in terms of not having to withstand a round of attacks to destroy an enemy. So very worth getting early on. Other things we've got at the moment, Happy Heart. Yeah, slow HP restoration. Pretty Lucky is quite good. That's a generalised, I think, 10% dodge chance, which is not a bad thing to have, and we're going to have to buy it at some point, so I am quite tempted to take it now. Other than that, we've just got Chill Out and Attack FX Y. Attack FX Y is purely cosmetic, just changes your sound effects, much like the cricket badge we found in the last episode. And then Chill Out basically stops enemies getting first strike on you. Occasionally useful, but generally it's pretty easy to avoid first strikes, or at least counter them, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just get the Pretty Lucky. There we go. So we've spent 11 of our 12 star pieces, and we'll have to replenish that supply down the line. Now we can start out on that road. Back on the surface, you'll see there's some footprints on the ground here and a relatively large gap between these houses. If we turn sideways, we can slip between them. And we'll find ourselves a star piece behind this barrel here. We've also got access to one up on the roof up there, which I can't get to quite yet, but we will be able to fairly soon. You'll also see that there's another Shine Sprite just off on the left of the screen there. Can't quite get across that river yet, but that will be something that will be coming up in a couple of chapters' time. So for now, we can head back into this building, and we'll find ourselves in the headquarters of these snail guys. These were the guys we saw getting beaten up in the intro by the Piantas. And yeah, it was this gang that they formed part of. So this is Ishnail. We can call him Ishnail, and they are quite a heavily armed bunch, not as well financed as the Piantas, but definitely a rival. And while we're here, we can go and talk to our brother Luigi, who's turned up. And Luigi is a bit of a recurring gag in this because he is on his own recurring adventure. He's in the Waffle Kingdom fighting the Chestnut King and trying to save Princess Eclair. So we'll get the first chapter of the story. My big brother, that's you bro, got a letter from Princess Peach and took off. Left behind as usual, I was cooking a snack at home when another letter arrived. We don't get so much mail, so I was thinking, this is what the letter said. Sirs, my name is Crep. I am a cabinet minister in the far-off Waffle Kingdom. Our land has been attacked by the Chestnut King who took our Princess Eclair. I ask, nay, beg for your assistance. The Waffle Kingdom needs your skills. I humbly request your prompt response, sirs. Sincerely, Crep. Well, I don't remember it exactly, but I think it went something like that. With Mario, that's you bro, gone, it fell to me to answer this plea. Hesitating only a teensy bit, I headed to the Waffle Kingdom to investigate. Oh, no, first I wrote a note to myself about what I was cooking. Then I left. Once I reached the Waffle Kingdom, I met Minister Creb, who filled me in. The Chestnut King had kidnapped Princess Aglaia and vanished. Apparently, though, some oracle said a marvellous compass could locate her. This marvellous compass had been broken into 7 parts by an ancient curse, and those parts had been scattered across the land. Can you believe it, bro? Each part of the marvellous compass was said to point to the next, and since one of the parts was embedded in the tiara worn by the princess, I surmised that once I collected all the parts, I'd find her. Smart, huh? The minister gave me the compass base, spoken of in Waffler fables. When it activated, the entire thing lit right up, indicating the deep south. It was pointing me towards Rumblebump Volcano on the Pudding Continent. So yeah, here I am. I'm sailing out of Rogueport for Rumblebump Volcano. It's probably going to be pretty dangerous, but I gotta rescue that princess. Clearly it runs in the family. Well, Mario is clearly not very interested in what his brother Luigi has to say, but in every chapter we'll have the opportunity to peek in on what Luigi's up to, and I think that's an opportunity we'll be taking, because I think they're quite well-written little adventures, particularly once he starts getting some partners of his own. So our next port of call is the item shop back in Rogueport, where this guy is standing out front, and the contact lens we ordered in the prologue of the game has been delivered, and it unfortunately costs us 10 coins to buy, but it does at least buy us the ability to buy off Zest Tea, which unlocked 2 new features. There we go, so we'll hand her the contact lens. So if we talk to her now that she's less angry at us, we can get her to cook various items, so I'll demonstrate this with a mushroom. And here we go, that gets us a shroom fry. So instead of just 5 HP restored from the mushroom, we get 6 HP and 2 FP, which makes it a much better healing item. And there's about 80 or so of these recipes throughout the game. Some of them require multiple items, and that's an ability we'll unlock later. But, you know, they are a nice little addition and give an extra bit of depth to the game. So trying to collect all the recipes becomes a fun little thing to do. This here is Charlieton. He sells very expensive items, and a lot of them are sometimes a bit weird. So this is the Jumpman badge. I quite like it, actually, especially later on once you get the Spike Shield badge. Basically, it disables your hammer. You can only use jumping moves, but it increases the jump power by 1. Now, what Charlieton has tends to vary based on when you come and see him. So nothing there for me for now, because I can't quite afford the Jumpman badge, but we will be checking in with him as we go. And the second thing that giving Zest Tea the contact lens unlocks is the ability to access the west side of town. This is the relatively more fancy bit of town. It's still a bit crime-ridden and scummy, but there's a star piece hidden behind this wall, for one thing, and it's got some of the nice little townhouses. So you'll see there's a tall pipe there we can't get into. That's an exit route for the place we can go if we drop down through this guttering here. We also have access to the Pianta Parlour, although I don't know if we can play anything with it yet. This guy here runs the lottery, and we can buy... This is a strange lottery because you don't just buy a ticket every time you want to play. You buy a ticket and the number changes every day. So we might as well buy in for 10 coins, and that gets us the 5308 number, and this is a slightly weird way of matching it. If you check the number, 7884, so none of our numbers match, but if they did, they match from right to left rather than from left to right. It's a very strange way of doing it. But as a consolation prize, we get a mushroom every day, so it does eventually pay off in terms of your 10 coin investment anyway. Behind this bin over here in the corner, there's another star piece, and we got a special item shop here. That's not an item shop that's very useful for now, but it will be later. We'll head into the Pianta Parlour and see if there's anything that we can do for now. So we'll buy ourselves some Piantas with our coins, and initially we're only able to play the slots, but I'll show you how they work. It's pretty simple. You're just trying to match 3. Generally, you won't manage it. Yep, and we've gone bust. So, dangers of gambling, kids, don't do that. The Game Boy in the corner lets you check your scores, and as we go on through the game, we'll unlock various items which unlock new mini-games, so I'll be checking those out as we go. So, next we need to head down towards the Thousand-Year Door, and a quick way to do that is to drop through this slot here. We can't quite get across that gap yet, but we can hop across these moving platforms. And if we head to the right through here, we'll find ourselves in the other side of the room where Dazzle lives. And this gets us in this little underground chambery area. I think there's some star pieces and things scattered around here, so I'm going to just quickly explore and find them. There's a chest in the corner here. That gets us the Soft Stomp badge, which allows us to reduce enemies' defense by hitting them correctly with it. It's not It's situationally useful. I don't tend to equip it, but you might like it in your playstyle. And a star piece hidden behind these columns here, taking us back up to, I think, 4. This building on the left is a slightly dodgy pub, and this guy is called, I think, Wonky. Wonder why he's called that. And he tells us little rumours about the place, which can be a little bit interesting. But they cost 5 coins. But we got the coins, so this tells us about little Easter eggs in the game. So we can look at the message board in the centre of town. Got it. In this building to the right, we've got a slightly more luxury shop. This sells very expensive items like the gold bars. These are basically used for coin storage and banking. If you have loads and loads of coins and you don't want to go over the cap of 999, you can invest into coins. These cost 350 and sell for 300, so you pay a little bit of an exchange rate, but you can store loads of them in the item storage in the shops, so you'll never run out of coins or end up running into the cap. It's quite an efficient method. You can also use them to cook with, although I wouldn't recommend it for a beginning player. So 200 for a jam and jelly and a ultra shroom. Those are very expensive. I wouldn't recommend buying them. You'll tend to find them along dropped by enemies further along in the game. So through this door, which doesn't seem to open, there will be something important later. But for now, I'll head back through to the left, drop down onto the floor, and through this pipe. So quickly tackle this guy. It's a Spaniard. And he's basically the same as a Spinier, except he's got spikes on his head, so we can't head bonk him. But no worries, because the hammer should make good work of him. Can't break through here because we can't whack this giant block yet, but that will be something we can come back to later. So I may have been wrong about this being a shortcut down to the 1,000-year door, but that is something I've remembered I still need to do. And that is if we head over to the house next door to Frankly, with a shine sprite over the door, nice and helpful, we can have a chat with this guy. This is Merlon. And for 3 shine sprites, he will upgrade a partner of ours. Now we only have enough to upgrade 1, so I'm going to choose Gumbella. And what this does is it adds 1 attack power and some extra health to her, and it also unlocks a new move. In this case, I believe it's Multi-Bonk, which allows her to it's basically Power Bounce, but for Gumbella. Uses the same number of FP, and the difference is that she starts out with a higher jump attack power and will now do 4 damage with a well-executed head bonk rather than 2. If we upgraded Coops instead, it would similarly add 1 attack power, but because he only attacks once in a turn, his shell toss would have only done 3 damage rather than 4, so I find Gumbella is the best one to upgrade early on. So with that done, let's head back down into the sewers and get to this door. Oh, now that we've unlock the ability to turn sideways, we can head through into this secret room back here. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do with that yet, because as you'll see, we get spiked if we attempt to go through it, and there's no way to get through to the end without getting spiked in the process just yet. I'll demonstrate just for local colour. Yep, indeed, does not work, and best not attempted. So in the 1,000-year door room, now that we can turn sideways, we've unlocked a couple of new things to do. I'll hop up on this platform here, and we can paper plane our way over to the other side. Which, among other things, allows us to hop up here, where we can find ourselves an extra shine sprite. Very nice. Not enough to upgrade Coops yet, but we'll get there. And if we hop over through this door, we find ourselves in this mysterious octagonal anteroom, and this is the Pit of 100 Trials. If we have a look at the sign here, it says, yep, first attack and bump attack badges don't work, and yes, indeed. We record some records about our game here, so we've got 16 out of 100 star pieces, record power bounce 6, deepest level reached is referring to the Pit of 100 Trials. We're not going to head in there today, because I am in no way tough enough to take that on, but I'm sure it's something we'll do towards the end of this run, probably. So without further ado, nothing else for it, let's head up on this pedestal. there we go. So we get the location of the next crystal star, which we will be heading into in the next episode. First things first, let's go have a chat with Frankly. So yes, as was hinted in the Princess Peach sequence, we're off to the Boggly Woods, and we saw a familiar creature earlier in the game that looked like the guy he's mentioning, so we'll go and hunt those down fairly swiftly. But first things first, we'll have a look in this bin where there appears to be a creature tattle log we missed the first time round. In this case, it's the Red Bones, which is the mini-boss that we fought in the last episode. Now, you may remember if you watched that we did actually tattle the Red Bones. The problem is that the game then crashed and I had to redo that section and couldn't be asked. So I knew I could recover it from the bin. So with that, we will leave it heading off to the Boggly Woods until next episode. And with Mario staring into the trash-strewn harbour and bashing this cockroach with his mallet, we are prepared to head into Chapter 2. So I hope you've enjoyed this little interstitial chapter, showing off some of the secrets around Rogueport that we've unlocked now that we've got the ability to turn sideways. I will join you next Saturday, and until then, we've got Cathy Rain going on as a little mini-series in the meantime, plus there may be some one-offs if you're very, very lucky and my schedule permits. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. If you'd like to help me grow the channel, you can always subscribe, and I am on Patreon at patreon.com/digitalwilds. I will see you next time.